Jacob, Hilde, thank you for being here. Today you've presented your quarterly results for Q4 2018. 19% revenue growth and 8% EBITDA growth. Congratulations. Are you headed in the right direction, and are you satisfied with the financial developments of the group?
I think that's what I would call solid. 19% revenue growth when you're excluding the Cube acquisition is actually a 14% organic growth. That's pretty decent, I think. And in particular, when we talk about the EBITDA development and the improvement there, I'm pleased that we're actually getting to these kinds of results because obviously there has been some restructuring costs in the quarter as well. So that's what I would call solid.
So things are moving in the right direction. And you mentioned the cost reductions. The cost program was of 30 million Norwegian kroners. In which way have you seen, and what can we expect from the cost savings?
Well, I mean, obviously there's the 30 million Norwegian kroners being freed up. And I believe we've been able to do that in a manner that does not impact the operations in a negative manner. Actually, on the contrary, we'll have much clearer roles now. And I also expect that we will be, or not just expect, we will be taking parts of the 30 million Norwegian kroners and investing that into some of the key focus areas going forward.
And that's also why you are on board, Hilde, isn't it? Jacob is reducing costs and freeing him up to make M&As and new investments. Yes. What's your take on the perspectives ahead?
Well, I think as Jacob has presented earlier, it's a challenging business. The market is in change. I like that. And 19 or 14% growth is good as a start for the company. Well, I think with my background, I hope I can also both be a part of the support, but also the challenging of the current management and go forward. M&A is part of the strategy, and that will be my responsibility in the future.
Sounds interesting. So to both of you, which areas will you lock in and focus on when it comes to where will you do the investments?
Well, I think as presented today, number one is making sure that we are staying and improving our relevance in the home markets. That goes almost without saying, but it's extremely important that we don't become satisfied in a way, right? We always have to sort of keep moving in particular in today's environment. Number two is that we will be investing more in Spain. We have a great traction in Spain. It's a huge country, and we believe there's a great product market fit also with Spain. And thirdly is e-commerce. We were both fortunate and lucky to get the Cube into our portfolio this year. Or 2018, and that's an amazing both organization and product, and combined with our click and collect lockers, that's an area in which we also have the market forces with us. So those are the three main focus areas going forward.
Sounds appealing. There's a lot happening in the industry, and the shift towards e-commerce is quite strong. And you have, through Cube in Sweden, made a great success, I must say. Can we see some spillover? What's the strategy of taking that success to other key markets?
Well, I think, as you say, there's a huge interest and demand for e-commerce growth. Here in Norway, we haven't yet experienced players like Amazon being a threat, but that's obviously not just a threat, but they're also having threshold in certain European markets, which in a way forces the incumbents to think differently. And we have obviously a very important role to play in being that life buoy to the retailers out there. In helping them get online, but also doing the necessary in-store improvements that are needed as revenue is moving online.
So, what typical retailers are faced with these days is, for instance, the need of thinking omni-channel to work both in the warehouses and in the stores, but at the same time building a stronger e-commerce. In which way do you think StrongPoint has the solution for that kind of retailers these days?
Well, if you look at first of all, I think all retailers are impacted by the growth of e-commerce, and certain categories have shifted almost entirely online. But I think you need to look at that in combination with both our existing customer portfolio or customer base and product portfolio. And we are stronger with the home markets and the grocery retail clients, so I expect that to be the case further down in Europe as well. But again, we have some very exciting other opportunities with other types of retailers as well. There are even more so facing and experiencing the growth of e-commerce.
So you talk about Europe, the European market, and we have earlier talked about the Roadrunner concept and the partner program. You have said earlier that it's important to expand and to increase also the foothold in key markets through the Roadrunner program. Today you announced that in Russia the office is now converted into a partner office. Could you update us briefly on the partner program and what's happening out there?
Well, so let's talk about the partner program and the Roadrunner. So if you look at partners, that's all about taking our entire product suite and offering to clients. And to date, we've had a number of partners that are selling our cash management solutions. We believe that would be the case also going forward, although hopefully also in a more structured manner, but also getting our entire product portfolio out there. We mentioned the self-checkout solutions earlier today. I also foresee that we have many more partners that could be selling our e-commerce offerings as well. So in that respect, I'm very pleased to have Roin Gabrielsson as the SVP of Global Partners in place to drive that effort. Then we have the Roadrunners. That's a slightly different type of partnership. I'd like to call them more agents, because these are really the people that are taking our cash management solutions and being a sales force without being on our payroll. Those have been extremely successful in Spain, and we achieved a tremendous doubling of the number of cash cards being sold in Spain Q4 this year versus last year. And again, to manage expectations, I must say that was exceptional. But the program as such is working very well, and because of that, we're also initializing the Roadrunner concept in Germany, where cash continues to be the preferred means of payment for smaller transactions.
Yeah. So the Roadrunner concept is working well, I take it. And you also have announced the MOU with Harting. So could you briefly describe what's the potential of that?
Well, I think the potential is enormous. Harting system has a long history of serving the larger retail and grocery retail clients in Germany with their own solutions, namely Smokey-Tech, which is their version of Vensafe, if you want. But they have both the experience, the access, the credibility to also take our solutions and now firstly with the MOU, the self-checkout solutions to these clients. So obviously there are many stores that our clients, or I'm sorry, that the German retailers have. So the potential is enormous, and now it's a question of time and effort to see what kind of fruits this partnership could bear.
But it seems like you're digging into the large markets in Europe, for instance, through the partner strategy you're now pursuing. Is it a way of moving ahead which combines the focus on cost cutting, but at the same time increasing revenue and earnings?
Absolutely. I think in a way, cost cutting is something you want to do in any case, but it also, of course, helps with the investments that are needed. We need to invest in people. We need to invest in scanning M&A opportunities. So that's going to be very important as we explore the larger European markets. There's no way we can sort of mirror the potential or the footprint that we have in Spain and Germany without putting the resources behind it, much in the same manner we have in the home markets.
Hilde, you came in quite recently, and Jakob, you say you're investing in people. This morning we also got the announcement of the new Senior Vice President of People and Organization, Erik Våg. So could you describe what's really the people focus? What's the people-centric, the focus on bringing in new competence?
Well, I mean, we are a retail technology company, and I'm advocating for large changes in the retail industry. And as such, we have to stay on top of the development all the time. So I think it's extremely important that we, as a company, are able to upskill and develop the people we have. And I think there's a great potential in that. I'm super happy to have Erik aboard. I'm of course super happy to have Hilde on board. Just really believing in the both the upskilling of the people, but also using that focus as a means to attract more talents into the organization.
And at the same time, you're investing in a tool called Peaken to retain the talent and also to build on the competence and the base of expertise you already have. What's really behind that thought, and what is Peaken?
Well, think of it this way. I mean, we did, as most companies, the annual survey, and then you do the annual survey and you come up with some pain points and action points. But honestly, I mean, if we're thinking about, if you're comparing the people with the finances, there's no way that I could get Hilde to approve a budget and then we follow up on that budget next year. That's not the case, right? And Peaken does exactly the same thing as we do with finances, namely keeping traction of what is the development out there, what is the engagement with our employees on a bi-weekly basis. So it's very frequent interaction with our employees and leaders on how are things moving, what can we do better, just in the same manner that we would do with financials. So I'm super excited, and we have, I think, very good experience. Well, what is it now? 1 month into it?
Yes.
So 2-3 times more longer than with Hilde.
Sounds great. So Hilde, then I have to ask you, why did you choose StrongPoint?
Well, on my day 9, I'm happy to say that I'm pleased to be here. Currently I was working with Ahlsell, a logistic wholesaler, and previous to that I was working with Kongsberg, which is an innovative technology company. And I think StrongPoint really combines the two. You have the products, the hardware, you have the software on top of that, and also you have the solution selling. In addition, we are focusing on the efficient logistics suite, which Cube also represents into the company. So I think it was just a natural next step for me.
But what was your first thought?
Well, to be honest, I hadn't heard about it. And I think that's one of our tasks now, to make people actually be aware of this company, playing a part in this market that is currently changing so much.
And if you look ahead the next 9 days, what do you foresee?
Well, I will of course try to, as soon as possible, get my arms around the business, around the people. You can have as good technology and product you want, but without the people you cannot succeed. So we are traveling a lot to visit the different sites. And for me to understand the strategic approach that the board has laid ahead for us. And as Jakob mentioned today, M&A is really a part of the strategy going forward. So having a good process of doing that. My experience with M&A in both my previous companies say that that time is the best due diligence. But we don't. I guess the impatient means that we don't have that much time to visit to the market that we are actually meaning what we're saying. So M&A strategy and M&A process will also be very high up on my agenda the next 9 days.
And if briefly we look a few months ahead, what's your main focus then?
I love business, so I will both try to be a financial support to the managers that are actually going to perform what the strategy says, but also to challenge them. So that will be my task. Use the financials to challenge the different local managers, because it's through them.
And me.
Absolutely. I was too polite. Yes.
Okay, so welcome on board. And it seems like you guys are hitting the road, not as road runners, but
maybe we should try that as well. Yes.
but anyway, to make sure that that StrongPoint is made more aware of, and then also that the focus increases, and we might also have some news in due time when it comes to M&As or other kinds of investments. So thank you for being here, and good luck with the onward journey.
Thank you.
Thank you.